Hello everybody, I'm Tasha Safari. I think after moving to Berlin, I changed as a person. Maybe it will sound a bit paradoxical, but now I'm more serious. And in terms of everything, like I take more care about my health because I realized over the years about our profession, but not only in profession, like in general in life, it's physical health. It's crucial, really. And you cannot be like a serious artist and be like sluggish, during sets. So I think I started to take more care about myself, about my mental and physical health. And in terms of music, I became more professional. I really feel like I'm growing, and this city helps me a lot. But also Berlin can overwhelm easily, with all these temptations and never-ending parties, everything's super easy, fast. But I don't know, maybe because I already seen enough in my life, or maybe because I have some, goals. I know why I moved here. So that's why I'm yeah, of course I can go for parties, but I don't get crazy with that. In terms of music, I think now I sound more higher in quality, but at the same time more minimalistic than it was. So maybe I'm really growing up. Because after some time I just started to realize less is more, and this is really true. I'm still shaping my vision and my sound, and I'm still trying to figure out how I can use less in my tracks, but to sound like crazy. Yeah. Usually I'm analyzing the venue, the night, and artist who is playing before and after me. Of course I'm playing something what really resonates with me, but also I'm adapting, because it's not about to show yourself, If you want just to play something what only you want to play at home. For yourself. And yeah, this is important, so I'm analyzing this. I'm trying to adapt which story I want to tell tonight. For me, the most important is to find a very cool intro, first track, or if I'm closing, last track, of course. It's most important. And at least I'm always trying to play at least one classic of techno. And then it's going in some direction. I mean, I'm preparing tracks, but I don't prepare whole scenario. This I do when I have streamings. Then I know when I will start another track, which track will go after each. But during night, of course, everything can happen in many different ways, and you never can predict for 100% how it's gonna happen. I'm trying to have power nap before set, to have if it's in the morning, proper breakfast, yes, espresso, because it's as I said, it's very important to be really super energized and to be able to jump, because my watches, they are going crazy after all my sets, because they think I'm in the gym. Sometimes I have notifications, yes, seems like you are doing this. Because of course you are jumping and people, they feel it. And to be able to make it better to go to sleep half an hour before set. Now I don't get so much nervous as I did before, but it's always a bit stress. And I think at the moment when I will stop to feel it, I just will end my career, because this is something what makes you, feel always hungry to new music, to gigs, because you are a bit stressed. Because then maybe when it will turn to some routine, it's gonna be boring, and let's see. I hope I will feel this before every month set. Because sometimes you have it more, sometimes less. For example, when I did streaming on Damyun, I was like, okay, because I was watching this streaming since many years. And I'm like, okay, what's next? And hands are a bit shaking, but it's so cool. When you finish, then you're like, wow, I did it. To be honest, I think like sets, they should start from 3 hours, really, because it's not easy to be able to tell some story like in 2 hours or 1 hour. Of course, it depends on context. So it can be, yes, very cool event where you have only 1 hour or something more experimental, for example. But I love sets like minimum 3 hours because it gives you opportunity to control dance floor and a bit maybe to tease people, you know, from time to time, like with all these faster, slower. And I didn't do it yet, but I hope I will be able to make like my all-nighter. I think it's very cool and interesting experience. I think in Berlin it's it's possible to make 7, 8 or even more. I think it also depends on the genre of music, because I started to play from hip-hop music, and when you have to mix like every 1.5 minutes, then it's okay to play 1 hour, of course, because you are like it's never-ending work. But with techno, it's cool really to play more than 3 hours. I have this feeling like I have to be happy myself with that, because I remember I had few sets when afterwards people were texting me like, thank you, it was cool. In the club they were saying this, but I wasn't happy. It was few times when I was like, oh my god, it was terrible, because I didn't feel like I was controlling everything, or I was like going in the direction what I didn't want to go. Like, it's hard to describe by words, but it's a strong feeling, and I always know if it is or it's not, because you can play like cool, you can play technically cool, you can play cool tracks, but if you did it only because you have to do this, not because you have this compromise, between what people want, what you want to show. So then I don't feel happy. Then for me it's like I'm just like a player and that's it. First of all, I never go to sleep without removing makeup. This is very important. And of course, I have some routine. I love to walk, to clean house, to take care about my cat. If I had like a lot of gigs in a row, then I don't listen like electronic music at all. I can listen some classics or some pop, for example, because otherwise it's like blurring everything. Also, I love to cook. I'm cooking myself like a healthy food, and this helps me like to reset myself. Of course, sport. Gym during winter, and now I'm running. I used to hate running, to be honest, but since I quit smoking. It's crazy because after moving to Berlin, I quit smoking and I don't drink any alcohol at all, and it's so cool. And after that, yes, after quitting smoking, I started to run, but this is not sport, but walking. If during summer, I'm trying to not use public transport or taxi. I mean, of course, if I have to go somewhere super far, I use, but I love just walking. I was scheduled to play streaming in Lune, Berlin, like this year. So I was preparing, everything was fine, and this day, like few hours before, my brother, he texted me like, our mom is in hospital. And I was like, fuck. We didn't know what's happening with her, and they were like waiting for results. And then I arrived there. I didn't tell anybody, and it was my friends from Enigma. They invited me to play with them, and I was like, okay, I cannot, create problems for other people. And I don't know how I managed this, but I played I think good. And after that, next day, thanks God, I received message everything is okay, she's already at home. But after that, first I discovered gray hairs on my head. So can you imagine, of course, how stressed I was. But then next day I realized oh my God, I'm so fucking strong, because I can play even having, I don't know, being super stressed. It was really interesting and unforgettable experience. Sometimes you just need to do what you have to do, and it really helps you to go through some things. Because if I didn't play, that evening, so then what I have? Just to sit home, to cry, to wait for messages. Sometimes maybe you have to do something under pressure because it will play better for you. Maybe it sounds boring, but almost every gig in my tour, it was super cool and different. But of course, for me, the big goal, it was Domune. And also it was a super edition. They were using AI, because I remember I was playing, and at some moment it was some people dancing there, and then I'm watching monitors, and there is a lion or some animals. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Am I tripping or what? But it was AI. It was turning the face some animals. Then it was changing visuals with music. It was cool. I think what's really helping me is the fact I don't drink alcohol, because I noticed the difference, and difference is huge, really. You are more fresh, you don't feel tired, and everything really much easier without alcohol. So this diet, I take care about what I eat, so I don't eat sugar. It's it's this fast dopamine, and when you're without it, you can resist, really. There is one thing what is not easy for me. It's when I don't have enough sleep. Then I'm stupid, I'm angry. I start to maybe to act even bitchy sometimes. But in general, yes, sports, stretching, and some things, I have some creams and something for refresh yourself, in my backpack always. Of course, when you are outside during 1 month, you feel a bit exhausted and you want to sleep in your bed, and then you want to spend some time with the cat. But emotionally, it's such a gift, I think, when you can travel, when you can meet so many people from different countries, different cultures, but they are all united. And this our scene, it's so niche. Even I don't know, in a different parts of our planet, but we are connected, and we feel this connection since first second. And for me, it's of course more positive moments than negative, and I can take rest, and of course I will take care about myself after I'm back from tour. But it's so cool. It's opening mind, because after each tour, after each travel, you are coming back home a different person, really, and with a new knowledge, with new friends. Last year, I was happy and lucky enough to meet so many cool people, really. They are so inspiring, and I hope it only starts. I'm really struggling with distractions. It was really huge problem, And then I was like, okay, I need to fix it somehow. And I discovered like for me it works if I do something like small tasks before something big like production. So first of all, I'm writing down everything in my calendar, in my app, like Google Calendar. Everything, like, I don't know, to take care about cat, to cook dinner, to go to sports, like, and after these small things, then I'm catching this wave of being productive, and then I'm trying to ride it, and after that, for me, it's easier to just to start and to spend some hours for production. Also, it works, but this is ChatGPT helped me to discover. For me, it works like when I'm working 90 minutes and then the rest like half an hour. Then again 90 minutes, then again the rest half an hour. You know, I'm trying to experiment with like my mind, my body, and then I'm discovering some really cool things what's working for me. Of course, yes. I feel it always. Maybe lately a bit less, but before it was like always with me, and this is really exhausting. I think it's very important, really, also to maybe write down or to say, I don't know, thank you to yourself. Like my example, since I moved to Berlin, I think I did so many things for my career, but for me it was never enough. I was always comparing myself. I was like, they had more time than you and you just arrived, you have to do this, and I was never, you know, fixing this, like I did this big thing, I did this, I don't know, radio, I played at this venue. Maybe it's also because I have this post-Soviet background, you know, for us depression doesn't exist. If you are sad, you have too much of free time. And of course, I mean, this helps you, you know, to get to some point. But if you don't stop from time to time, and if you don't say like, oh, I'm really cool, then it will hit like very painful. I remember I woke up with apathy. I didn't want anything. I was like, maybe I'm just doing something it's not for me. And I wasn't happy, like after cool gig, I was like, you know, feeling tired, super sad and even ashamed for nothing. And then I realized because of this syndrome also, you are always trying to be better. It's this perfectionism. It helps you at some point, but then you just have to let it go, really. Otherwise, it's because it leads to burnout. We cannot be perfect. I mean, it's cool to try to improve yourself always, but to think like, I will never be good enough for some people. Some people, they will always think like, I don't deserve, you know, what I have. But it's okay. I mean, we don't need to be good for everybody. I think in my case it helps a lot when I'm going out of genre, out of even music, to go for walk, conversation, book, and then painting. The inspirations, it's everywhere, but we just need to find a way, you know, to discover it. And sometimes it's in really unexpected things. So for me, it's even in general, not only about to stay inspired in terms of music, but it's important to stay curious, to always, you know, to argue with myself. If I'm wrong or right, if it's true, or maybe I have to change something, because it's okay when you are changing during your life. And if you change opinions, and then you find some people, and then I love to argue with people, not in bad way, but about some, I don't know, some art or something different. And then, because in these conversations you are always finding something interesting, and it's very inspiring. Other people, they are inspiring. Not all, of course, but some people, they are inspiring, their stories are inspiring. and different kinds of art, different type of art, like exhibitions, movies. Even when you go for walking and you see like something very cool and a beautiful tree, beautiful water, it's inspiring. For example, you felt, some idea what after wanted to say, and you just continue this idea, or you are showing your interpretation of this, and then you are finding just new topics what you can work around, and I think this is inspiration, and then you start to work. I mean, I can feel it's becoming a big problem because the people they are posting, like they are not happy with that. It's always a fight between two generations, older and younger. I think the more mainstream is trying to disguise itself as an underground, the more underground will go deep down. And this line between mainstream and underground will always exist. It's my humble opinion, but I think it's like this. Everything, it goes with the cycle, like music, fashion, I don't know, even politics, everything, history. It's like maybe changing shape a bit, but at the end, underground, it's not this, let's say, 100 people who is playing underground music. No, it's the music itself, it's a culture itself. And even if these 100 people, they will become commercial and mainstream, this music will always find another 100 people who will be underground. So I think we shouldn't be, so egoistic to think like we are underground. No, we are not. It exists without us. I'm using it for my routine. I'm using it to improve texts. I'm using it to count calories. Yes, if I eat enough proteins, like I'm just writing down all the receipts, how I cook, and then it's counting itself. So for this, I'm using it because it gives me more time to spend for art. I don't find it dangerous for music. I know it exists already as made of AI, this like meditation music and other things, but I don't know, I think we are safe and we have soul and we can feel something what's made with soul or no. So in this case, I don't feel any danger coming from AI. For me, to be honest, it's something like you can wash clothes yourself by hand with soap, or you can use washing machine. Maybe we need some more time and people will realize. Also, some people, they think it's more complicated, but it's super easy. Because when I was talking even with my mom, and I explained her like the way she can use it for cooking, for some information. Of course, she was scared, like what the fuck is this? But now she understands how easy it's everything with AI. So maybe some people, they need more time. A lot of things is coming, really, like podcasts a lot, and pretty big ones. Some remixes are gonna be released very soon, and compilations. Solo EP and collaboration, I'm not gonna say names now, but also right now I'm working on a new project. It's a new label, but not only label, it's much more. So yeah, I'm super excited. It's going even better than I was thinking. And yeah, in the end of summer, I will be able to tell more. After summer, I'm back to Trezor. It's always cool to get back there. I mean, this club, it was born like me in 91. So it's always a big honor really to get back there. On my Instagram, of course, I'm announcing everything. On YouTube, I post like long videos of sets like Domian, I posted there. On Instagram, it's easier because I can post their links. These links always there in my profile, like to Bandcamp, to SoundCloud, to Resident Advisory, to check where I'm playing. And yeah, just follow Instagram. No, TikTok I don't have. I used to have. I deleted. I also did, but this let's not include. I did, but it was like, you know, when I was young. And also after that, people went crazy. They wanted to know every detail of your personal life, and this I don't like. Yes, and then you are cancelled. This is all these stars in the past. If they had social media, they would get cancelled a million times.
You didn't prepare any questions like this, you know, like what do you think about what do you think about Bergheim? Do you like the bouncers? We finished.
Thank you.
So cute.
Thanks.
It was so easy.
Yes, really. It was just.